15 lakh crore rupees. That's the promised investment from the Make in India Week, a mammoth exercise that the government undertook to attract investors. 102 countries, 9,000 Indian companies, 2,000 foreign companies and 150 events. The Make in India event was grand in terms of scale and size and also in terms of footfall and the amount of investment it has brought in. But will it fulfill its promise of creating jobs and turning India into a manufacturing powerhouse? And will the upcoming budget push the government's grand Make in India vision? Hello and welcome to this special show. I'm Shweta Rajpal Kohli, and joining me today on the show will be Amitabh Kant, the man who spearheaded the entire Make in India initiative for the government. Also with him Joint Secretary Atul Chaturvedi, and to give the corporate India perspective, Jalaj Dani of Asian Paints. But first, let's bring you some glimpses from this mega event. A grand event in terms of scale, size and of course the amount of investment that has been committed, and the one state that has managed to get the lion's share of investments is clearly Maharashtra. Let's actually listen in to what Devendra Fadnavis, Chief Minister of Maharashtra, had to say as the Make in India week came to a close today.
It has been a biggest show of cooperative, competitive and collaborative federalism. We are indeed privileged that Maharashtra got the opportunity to be the host state. But at the same time, all other states got equal opportunity to showcase their strengths, to attract the investors, to have all kind of meetings, to enter into MOUs. And most of the states have taken advantage of this opportunity. Few also compared this with the events like World Economic Forum or Hanover Messe, and few of them expressed that they never imagined that the event of this scale would be organized in India. I think this Make in India event has made a mark in the history of India to make India a manufacturing hub, not only for domestic consumption, but to develop it as a global factory would be accomplished in next 2-3 years.
Of course, the big question really is whether the Make in India week was overshadowed by events that were taking place here, and questions also being asked as to whether the government is creating the right climate right now to attract investments. On paper, the number looks very, very impressive, but will the government be able to turn it into real investments? Already, if we look at the way FDI has jumped in the country, it indicates that there is interest, but there are questions being asked by the likes of telecom giant Vodafone, who they have in fact committed as much as 6,000 crores as part of the Make in India week, investment in India. But earlier in the week, they also questioned whether the government is creating the right climate. This because they were given a notice and a reminder of the tax payment that they were due to make to the government, which is 14,000 crores. And they obviously questioned if the government is creating an environment at a time when they're actually pushing the Make in India Week. Some of those questions and plenty more is something that we will get Amitabh Kant, DIPP Secretary, CEO of Niti Aayog, and the one man who has single-handedly spearheaded the government's Make in India initiative to answer for us whether events like Make in India go beyond the hype and lead to real investments. Can the government now turn this event into a real opportunity to attract those investments? Let me now go across straight to Mumbai, where we will be joined in a moment with Amitabh Kant. But remember, this entire week has come to a close. Not before we saw many states, as many as 18 states, actually competing with one another to attract investments, wooing foreign investors, going ahead and attracting investments into their own states. And those images that you're seeing on your screen clearly an indication of the grand scale of this event, which took place with some of the topmost industrialists participating and India showcasing to the world how it can turn itself into a manufacturing powerhouse. All right, my colleague Prashant Nair spoke earlier with Amitabh Kant. Before we go across live to him, let's actually listen in to what Amitabh Kant had to say as the Make in India Week came to a close.
All right, the Make in India Week is officially come to a close, a spectacular, grand event. And with me is the man who's the brains behind it, the executioner behind it, the enthusiasm, the energy behind it. Amitabh Kant needs no introduction. Mr. Kant, thank you very much for your time and congratulations on such a successful event. What's the takeaway, the learning for you?
Well, I think the Prime Minister's vision was that India must become a nation of innovation, it must become a nation of design, it must become a nation of startups, and we must be able to demonstrate the huge prowess of India's manufacturing. And all of that has been in full display here. And those who've seen this, and every single sector of manufacturing was displayed here. So across textile, across capital goods, across manufacturing, across food processing, all these sectors were in full display so that Indians could have a sense of pride, a sense of ownership about the great amount of manufacturing that is happening in India. We also brought in a lot of young entrepreneurs. We did a hackathon with all the IITs. We did a startup event with Qualcomm. And today, out of the 500 startups which were listed, then 5 were listed. Today they made a presentation, and a young entrepreneur who's driving Arc robot won the prize for that. So, and every single event, whether it was the one on design, whether it was states, we had 17 states participating. Their chief ministers came down, they made presentations, the sectoral presentations were made. Each one of them were absolutely packed. And so we've seen a huge interest, huge enthusiasm. And we've had about 8,000 foreign delegates. We've had about 120 countries participating in this. So every single player has been a part of this Make in India Week. And we worked in partnership with the state government of Maharashtra, with the private sector, and all of them have delivered.
And we're talking about some very large numbers now, right, in terms of investments which have been committed in this particular week, and majority of it, actually half of it is in Maharashtra, and the other half is for the rest of the country, right?
So these are figures which we've collected from the states and from the private sector. It's 15 lakhs 20,000 crores, out of which about overwhelming majority, about 8 lakhs plus is from the government of Maharashtra. And these are not MOUs, these are investments committed.
Okay.
And therefore, my belief is that these will move forward to fructification on ground in